Sometimes you call a shot and it actually happens in real time. 1 hour after predicting live on stream that Stefon Diggs was about to sign with Washington, the news broke. Diggs is officially a Commander, 1 year up to $12 million, and faithful, this offense just got legitimately scary. Let's break down exactly why, using the numbers, the scheme, and a depth chart comparison that should make every doubter of this front office think twice. Start with the geography of this signing, because there is something genuinely fitting about it. Diggs is a Maryland kid through and through, a Maryland Terrapin who will now be playing his home games practically down the road from where he grew up. He has spent this entire offseason making it clear he wanted to come home, and now he gets that opportunity while joining a Commanders offense that was already trending in the right direction before he ever signed. Let's talk numbers, because the statistical profile here genuinely supports the excitement. Diggs is a single torn ankle away from having put together 8 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons. He was firmly on pace for exactly that before the injury interrupted his streak. Last season with the Patriots, working in a reduced role at just over half of the team's offensive snaps, he still caught 85 passes for 1,013 yards and 4 touchdowns. And here is the detail that should have this fan base especially excited given how this Washington offense actually operates. Diggs lined up in the slot on right around 52% of his snaps last season, essentially splitting his reps evenly between the slot and out wide. For most of his career, he was primarily an outside receiver, spending roughly a third of his snaps in the slot. That shift towards significantly more slot work last season means he arrives in Washington already fluent in exactly the kind of role this new offense is going to ask him to play constantly. And that matters enormously, because if you have been paying attention to training camp practices, you already know this coaching staff is building an offense defined by constant pre-snap movement. Formations are shifting constantly. Personnel groupings are rotating unpredictably. Receivers are motioning across the formation on nearly every snap. This is not a static, predictable system where a defense can simply identify one receiver's role and lock in on it. Diggs' recent experience working heavily out of the slot means he already knows how to operate in tight spaces, work the middle of the field, and get in and out of his breaks quickly, exactly the toolkit this specific offense is going to lean on heavily. Think about what defensive coordinators around this league are now dealing with. You have genuine traditional spread formations. You have tight, condensed West Coast splits. You have multiple different personnel packages constantly rotating in and out. And even if an opposing defense correctly identifies the personnel grouping on the field, they still have to figure out who is lining up where. Is Terry McLaurin playing the X or the Z on this specific play, or is he in the slot? Is Diggs the X or the Z, or is he in the slot instead? Is Antonio Williams working the slot or the boundary? Is Luke McCaffrey the one in motion, or is it Treylon Burks or Diami Brown, or dare we even imagine it, Terry McLaurin himself going in motion? Last season, Diggs alone ranked among the very best receivers in this entire league in yards, gained specifically on plays where he was in motion before the snap. That versatility, stacked on top of everybody else already on this roster, creates a genuinely dizzying amount of pre-snap information a defense has to correctly process before the ball is even snapped. Now let's zoom out and really appreciate what this front office has built here, because the transformation is honestly remarkable when you put it in proper context. Go back and look at this exact same Commanders offensive depth chart from just 2 seasons ago. Jayden Daniels at quarterback, sure, but the supporting cast around him featured a receiver room and a backfield that, while serviceable, simply did not carry anywhere near this level of firepower. Now look at where this roster stands today. Jayden Daniels at quarterback, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt in the backfield, Terry McLaurin, Stefon Diggs, and Antonio Williams. Or a now third-year Luke McCaffrey rounding out that receiver room. A genuine franchise left tackle, real continuity and talent across that offensive line outside of the center spot. And it is worth remembering this front office actually funneled the significant majority of its total resources and financial investment into upgrading the defensive side of the ball this offseason, adding proven difference makers up front and in the secondary, along with drafting a genuinely promising rookie linebacker class. Building this level of talent on offense while simultaneously overhauling the defense is a genuinely impressive bit of roster construction, and it is fair to say this is shaping up to be one of the more talented, complete Commanders rosters in recent memory. That is not to say every question has been fully answered. The center position remains a legitimate concern worth monitoring closely as camp continues, and this defense still has some real question marks in the secondary heading into the season. But a well-schemed defensive system can genuinely help mask some of those individual deficiencies, especially if this retooled front seven can consistently generate real pressure without needing to rely on extra blitzers. What is genuinely exciting is that, for maybe the first time in a long time, this feels like a fully cohesive football team. One where the different position groups and phases of the roster all actually complement each other, rather than one side compensating for major gaps somewhere else. Now let's talk specifically about what Diggs adds to that receiver room, because you now have two legitimate 1,000-yard caliber receivers, plus a tight end who looks genuinely primed for a real breakout season, plus a rookie and Antonio Williams who might still be the best pure route runner in that entire room, even with Diggs now added to the mix. Add in a high upside offensive system, fully committed to establishing the run and building real explosive plays off play action, and Diggs' natural ability to consistently find soft spots in zone coverage given his extensive recent slot experience. And this offense genuinely looks like it fits together like a glove. It is not just talent stacked on top of talent randomly. It is talent that complements itself schematically in a way that should make life genuinely difficult for opposing defensive coordinators trying to game plan against it. There is also a genuinely nice, humble undertone to how Diggs has approached this signing that is worth mentioning. In a recent social media post, Diggs looked directly into the camera and essentially asked whether an opposing team's current number 2 receiver was actually better than him. A subtle but pointed reminder of exactly the caliber of player walking into this receiver room. And yet, despite leading the Patriots in receiving production on a team that made a real Super Bowl run last season, and despite a career that includes nearly 1,000 career receptions, over 11,500 career receiving yards, and dozens of career touchdowns, Diggs is reportedly arriving in Washington with real humility about exactly how he fits into this specific offense. He is not walking in trying to take over the entire operation. He understands his role, and with McLaurin, Antonio Williams, and Diggs all capable of winning at every level of the field, deep, intermediate, and short, this passing attack now has real answers for whatever a defense throws at it. And do not sleep on Luke McCaffrey either. He has reportedly led this entire roster in total receptions through the early stretch of training camp, and he already flashed real explosive ability with a couple of 40-yard-plus gains earlier this week. When given real opportunity last season, McCaffrey consistently produced in limited spurts, and now he gets to operate in a genuinely crowded, talented receiver room where defenses simply cannot afford to key in on any single option. So where does that leave this offense heading into the season? Genuinely difficult to find many real, obvious weaknesses left to nitpick. You have an ascending, dynamic quarterback in Jayden Daniels. You have a running back in Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, who profiles as a near-perfect scheme fit for exactly what this new coaching staff wants to do on the ground. You have real explosive speed at tight end paired with a more traditional blocking option as well. You have a true number 1 and number 2 receiver, both capable of hitting 1,000 yards. You have a promising rookie who might already be this room's best technical route runner. And you have real continuity anchoring most of this offensive line. Outside of the center position remaining a genuine question mark, it becomes genuinely difficult to find many holes left in this specific unit. So here is what I want to know from you, faithful. How high is the actual ceiling for this Commanders offense now that Stefon Diggs is officially in the building? Are we talking about a legitimate league-leading scoring offense, or is that getting a little too far ahead of ourselves this early in camp? Drop your honest takedown in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, because there is a whole lot more Commanders coverage still coming your way throughout the rest of this summer. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you in the next one. Raise hail.